but it's going to be hard for him. There's a space there. Hey guys, welcome to episode of On the Block now. Just one day after Kobe Bryant passed away, we have Lamar back, Igor, myself, Joe, the host. So Lamar, we're gonna let you start it off. Obviously, you're a big Kobe fan, so let's go.
Okay, so the reason, I remember I reached out to you today, and I said we got to do a show today. I reached out to Igor too. And the reason I wanted to is because a whole bunch of people from elementary school messaged me. My mom, my dad, everyone messaging me because when Jordan was in the league, everyone knows that, I'm a little bit older, like we're around the same age, but when Jordan was in the league, when he retired that first time, it was a violent hole. I remember even when I'm in high school, we were in recess and everything, like it's different without Jordan. Penny and them tried to hold it, but it was nothing. Then Jordan came back, hole was filled, it was exciting, it was beautiful, and then Kobe came. And when I saw him, I told everyone, and I'm not one of these guys, everyone knows I go against the grain, I don't follow what people say, I'm not that one of them phonies. And I told everyone he was going to be the best player in the league. And all my friends, anyone can attest to it at the gym, anyone that's known me since grade 6, 7 will know. And everyone used to tease me. And I loved him, and then Jordan retired, and I'm like, this is the guy. And then to keep it real, he had this attitude that I had to let him go. I didn't like it, like he had this, because you know how Kyrie looks up to him, Kyrie Irving and Durant, he had this pompous attitude that I didn't like about Kobe. That like this team was successful and everything, but I couldn't ride with him anymore, and I let him go around the time Vince got in the league. So when Vince came, and even though I liked him in UNC, Vince is my guy, everybody. I'm not here trying to pretend Kobe's my guy because I liked him first. Vince is my guy. But I went on to Vince, and I used to attack Kobe the way I attack LeBron. Never skill. I always tell, and I said it on the show many times. I even told you guys, it's not his skill. He was vicious. I was terrified of him, but I couldn't stand him. I hated his smug attitude, the arrogance. I hated it. The same way I told you guys I got rid of Kyrie Irving. I told you I didn't care. Good riddance. That's why I told you I didn't even think Brooklyn's going to make the playoffs. He's a bum. He's a cancer. I felt the same way about Kobe, but I was terrified of him because of his skill. So, at the end, when he started getting injured, you guys know how I am. Good for you. You deserve it because of the way you played. Blah blah blah. Your arrogance.
Last few years of his
the last few years when he started getting hurt. But then the Achilles happened. And I said, man, like I started feeling bad for him, right? And then he came back and his attitude was different. You guys saw him always smiling, always whatever. It was different. He was competitive, but the team that they put him with, those players that were bums, he had no chance of winning a title. And I just felt bad for him. And in those years that he was hurt, I started hearing more loud and loud, LeBron's better than him. And even though I still didn't fully forgive Kobe for me having to let him go, it was like the disrespect. And then when he retired, that's when you really started hearing me screaming. You guys even know when we're on the show, I'm like, why do you guys keep talking about Jordan? He's not even better than Kobe. And it used to really bother me. And I just feel like when everyone was texting me, my elementary friends and everybody, I just felt guilty. Like I can show you the texts, man, I know how much you like him. And I feel bad because they don't know for over a decade.
You gave him up.
I hated him. Like I was talking more bad about him. I loved him his first 3 years rookie, but then 10 years, almost 15 years, I hated his guts.
So Kobe and Shaq years.
I hated him. They were a stacked team. I didn't like anything about them, the way I hated things. So this is the one thing I want to say, which is really important. Besides that, like I just feel whatever I at the end I liked Kobe, and I even when I would say he was better than Kobe, it sounded like more Kobe LeBron hate than praising Kobe. It didn't sound like I was repping Kobe. I was more saying he's not even better than Kobe, which he's not. But the part I want to say is that like the people that watch basketball, and I'm not talking about any of you guys, so whatever you guys say, don't think I'm coming at you guys. Especially at the gym, the people that were texting me were just last week. I was saying that he's not better than Kobe. They're dismissing me and saying how Kobe's not even in the topic. He's under him.
Because he was about to pass him in points.
No, even before that.
Oh, okay.
Just that he's better, right? And now those same people, I'm finding out, and I don't have Instagram or anything like that, my boys are telling me, are posting GOAT, and even people on TSN, Skip Bayless and them, backtracking. Stephen A. Smith backtracking. The guys from Get Up backtracking, saying that Kobe's number 2 and he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan we'll ever have. But then I can even pull up things where they're saying that LeBron's better than him. So what I'm just trying to say, which is very important, I know I'm eating up the time, it's my last thing, is that we can't just be a prisoner of the moment and say disrespectful things. Because now, because Kobe's retired, it used to be blasphemous to compare anyone to Jordan.
Yep.
People got brave with the LeBron thing. People won't be loosely with Kobe's name no more. But does he have to die for that? So for 3 years, how long was he retired? 3 years?
Yeah.
That's
3 years retired, maybe his last 2 years, he had to hear people. Yeah, he had to hear people saying that this guy's better than him. When Kobe knows, but he's too cool for that. He's not going to talk back. But that's all he heard. Now he's dying, and now people want to come out and say it. We can't be prisoner of the moments and Instagram posts and let little stats. It's facts over stats. It's facts, and we can't let these things happen. And then now we want to give people their just due. It's just not right. So so it's loosely. Even like I'm not trying to troll or talk about LeBron not being better, which he's not. It's just like when you guys come out, when people come out and just say just loosely, this person's better than this person, all that kind of stuff. We got to know if we're watching the game, we got to watch the games. We can't just say things loosely. And I just the way I see people acting with Kobe and the way that people are respecting his name now more than before. Everyone's telling me their stories. You guys are about to say your stories. That's fine. But the way that everyone's coming now and saying that he's number 2 and saying he's GOAT and all that kind of stuff, that wasn't the energy last week. So even though they're realizing it now, which I'm happy, and they're respecting his name, that's the only blessing in this whole horrible accident, that there's more respect on his name, like the way Jordan's respect. So that's all I wanted to say. Just guys, we have to, when we're watching these games, we can't just have some new thrill come in and you just disrespect somebody. The work that someone put in, the tenacity that they're talking about with Kobe, saying how good he is, his work ethic, all these kind of things. When LeBron fans see that, they know that it's not the same. You can't compare a 2-minute Instagram clip in your underwear to what Kobe used to do at 5 in the morning. You can't talk about him hitting free throws with his Achilles and LeBron is healthy and hiding from free throws. You guys know the difference. So now people they're seeing these things. People used to disrespect and say Kobe's not playing on 2 ends of the floor. Everyone knows that Kobe used to guard the best player. And people want to disrespect because LeBron doesn't guard the best player. We can't tear down people's greatness to try to elevate other people. We got to be real. That's all I want to say. Sorry, I went way over. Go.
No, that's fine. I was gonna even quickly before we get to you. It's tough because once someone does pass away, you're right. Like there's prisoner of the moment or whatever it is, and even with rappers, with Tupac and Biggie, right? Like if they're still alive, who knows if people put them 1 and 2 or whatever, is what most people do. But would you say he's number 2 all time shooting guard anyway? Obviously,
I've always
shooting
thought
guard.
he was number 2.
And regardless of position, second best player ever for you? For you.
Yeah. Towards the end, especially when you saw that 60 at the end, you can't deny what he's done. It was difficult for me to say he was better than Magic, but I kind of said that towards
Better
even when I hit
defensively
it.
too.
Yeah, exactly. But Magic was like, I would just hear better Laker, and I'm like, there's no one better than Magic as a Laker. But then when I stopped saying that afterwards when time was passing. But remember, I didn't like Kobe, so I'm not giving him that praise, right? But there's no one, if we're talking about all-around player, I remember Durant came out with those quotes when he was saying that you have to be a study of the game when LeBron took it as a diss. If you're talking basketball, you have your kids, and you have a guy that you want. You want a kid that can shut down the best player. You want a kid who can score. You want a kid, that's the point of basketball, put the ball in the hoop. That's the point of basketball. Not to pass to somebody else to score. The point is to get the ball in the hoop. Kobe mastered that. And Kobe can play defense. He can do, the only thing he could do better than Jordan to me was shoot threes, but they were very close in everything. He mimicked his favorite player, not in number, not in copying little stupid things and shoe numbers and movies. He copied him by studying what he did and tried to master that the best that he can, and he copied it to that. And everybody knows. They see Kobe Bryant, they're looking at Michael Jordan, and everybody knows it. So he has to be number 2. I can't just keep saying the list that everyone says for years. Magic, Bird,
Who would you put third anyways?
I have to think about it. I don't want to use the cup.
All right, Igor, your thoughts on Kobe?
I mean, again, to go off what Lamar said on a couple of things, I've been listening to some of the shows. I don't think that truthfully that Kobe didn't get his just due. I think the situation is when they're talking about that he was the closest thing to Michael Jordan. I think they're more to do with the mentality on how he wanted to destroy guys on the court, the work ethic, things along that nature. I think he's always gotten his just due with that. I think that's when they say that he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan, it was more to do with his mentality, not. And again, just like he said, the moves, the tongue, all that stuff that he did when he was younger, he was again trying to be Michael Jordan or surpass Michael. He made that pretty clear a bunch of occasions.
And with his number change too.
With his number change and so forth. So I think when people are talking about that he was the closest thing to Michael Jordan, I don't think they're talking about as in an overall game per se. They're talking about how he was as an individual on the court, as a scorer. And again, I will give them the just due there that he may in fact be maybe the second best scorer of all time in terms of overall offense and then being able to do what a lot of guys weren't able to do. Yesterday obviously was a rough moment in just in general. I think especially with his kid there and so forth. And we talked about a little bit on the phone. Having met the guy, I had the opportunity, like I told you, to meet the guy in
You met him?
person. Yeah, I interviewed
Wow.
him in a scrum. Again, he just had this greatness feel to the guy. You were right next to the guy and you felt that aura of a guy that I think I met him also near the end where he had, I think it was 10 years ago. That would have made him 31. So he's still in his
Still in
prime.
his prime a little bit.
But he definitely wasn't a guy that he looked a little bit more carefree, like you mentioned. A lot of those Laker teams were not what they used to be. I think Andrew Bynum, the Meta World Peace days, they were okay, but they weren't what they were. But again, he just exuded confidence, and he was just a fun-loving guy. And I think that's what I take more from Kobe is that watching him on the court. Again, prolific scorer, legendary scorer. Again, I can't say that at any point was I a supreme like Kobe Bryant fan at any point. I just like him. I was a big Vince guy back when they were both in their prime situations. But did I enjoy watching the man play, and could I give the man the just due for having prolific talent? Obviously, he was definitely a guy that was worth the price of admission, was worth watching on television, and even his mentality. And I think I've gained a little bit more respect for him even since he retired from a lot of the stuff that he's been doing with the books, with the breaking down of the game. You can tell he was a real student of the game and how he helped everybody. I mean, you just look at all the reactions from the players
guys
yesterday.
that are still in the league.
Guys are still in the league, even young guys that
Trae Young.
it was literally we talked about it yesterday. It was literally like a buddy had died, and I only met the guy and I spent maybe 20 minutes with the guy, but you know what? It sunk into me that after that happened, on my day, I couldn't do much with my day because that's all I kept thinking about was the man lot again 9 other people ended up being his kid and so forth, but you just lose that situation where you just lost an icon way too early, and I think he could have been. He's only 41 years old. He had so much more to give, and I think that's the fault where he could have been in basketball doing other things and. WNBA with his kid. I mean, she looked like she had a lot of potential. It was just an overall a sad day and a loss for the basketball world, and I think a loss for the sporting world. You just see it all over the soccer players. Everybody was like, you know what, this guy had everything going. And again, when that stuff like that happens, when I think someone may made the point today where we lost a lot of people like Prince and then Michael Jackson and guys along that kind of nature. A lot of that was self-inflicted. This wasn't self-inflicted. This was literally.
He was still young.
He was still young. He literally had used the helicopter dozens of times. Some fog, some errors by the pilot, and that's it. But it really makes you think that the whole life is precious thing. I've always kind of thought live that mantra where not tomorrow's not guaranteed, and it's just another way of reality of looking at that. But again, phenomenal player. Looked like phenomenal parent from the looks of it, and I agree with him. He had looked like he had chilled out that mentality where he was barking at guys and everything all that nature. When he got older, he kind of relaxed a little bit, and
Looked like he was transitioning
to a mentor and becoming a better person in general. So a big loss, and again, no doubt a basketball great. I'm not going to debate the whole LeBron and Kobe thing. I don't think it's at this point.
They're both up there.
They're both up there, and I think that they lost a legend, and that's the focal point at the moment.
A few things I've written down I really want to forget. I've never seen, other than Kawhi last year was the first guy, because even going to games you see it. I think Kobe was the one guy that players really respected. And they looked at him and they took him seriously at all times. Shaq obviously was on that greatness level, but because he was a jokester and him and Kobe, you see why Kobe didn't really get along with him. Kobe pushed people to be great. And I was talking with people today at work about this. One thing, regardless of off-court issues or non-issues, as a person, as a player, you really have to respect the work ethic that he had, whether it be in the gym, at work, job, whatever it is. Anybody that goes that hard at their craft, their passion, their job, you can't really fault anybody for that. And he's one of the few guys in the league, at least on that talent level, that you can't say that he left anything out on the court. Vince, wish he was more passionate about the game. Now you see it towards the end, and he's still clinging on, and he's still right. But for the last 4 or 5 years, but yeah, with Kobe, I just wanted to say that just his work ethic alone, you have to really give the guy his respect, because there may be a handful, 5 guys in the league that have that kind of passion. Maybe Giannis is one of them, guys that go in and work every day. Also, I was gonna say, I don't think Michael Jordan really respected anybody like he respected Kobe.
No.
Even when you see LeBron go up to him, you can tell there's a little bit of disconnect, whatever it is. You know what I mean? He respects him, but not on that level.
It's begrudging.
Right? But with Kobe, there was almost like a love. And the fact that even he tried to be him, a lot of people would be like, oh, you're coming from my throne. I don't like that. But MJ almost like, he respected it, he liked it, he passed the torch, all that kind of stuff. And you don't see, I didn't see that from Michael to anybody in the league, whether it be like on the camera or off, stuff that you can't tell. And then also like Lamar was talking about, you touched on a little bit too, those later years where, I don't want to say he lost the fight or anything, but you could tell that he was losing the athleticism, his career was winding down, injuries came, he did transition into a bit of a mentor. Trey Young talked about that yesterday in his post game, that he really liked what he was doing in his rookie year. I know that you kind of said the same things. Giannis talked about how in his, I think it was last year, Kobe kept giving him challenges. He wanted to work on his jump shot. He won an MVP, he said go win an MVP. And now his last challenge for him was to win a championship. So you just see when you're in like the presence of greatness, like you said, sometimes you don't have to say anything, but just seeing you at the gym, for example, you know what I mean? Seeing you doing your sports stuff, being a teacher, working with kids, doing a good job. Sometimes people just inspire others by not saying anything, just literally leading by example. And I think that that's what Kobe did too. He just did every day what he was doing. Even the David Spade and Chris Rock courtside when they're yelling in his ear, and he's like, I literally didn't hear them. When you see that kind of zoned in focus mentality, just like I said, nothing but respect for the guy.
I think it was Jay Williams that shared a story yesterday that I think he was a rookie in the league where he was like, you know what, I'm gonna come in and then I come in early at like 2:00 and start shooting around and Kobe was on the court. And Kobe wouldn't leave the court until Jay Williams would leave.
He wanted to be the last guy.
Because he literally told him like, there's no way you're outworking me. There's no way I'm leaving before you do. So that kind of mentality, and like I said, you know, I think you brought that into. I think there's still talks about him sleeping only 4 hours a night even after he retired. I mean, the Oscar that he won, like that was just phenomenal out of basketball. Again, his mentality, that whole Mamba mentality, as at times it might have like pushed people the wrong way. I remember Smush Parker. I think to this day, Smush Parker probably still hates him. But at the end of the day, like when you're pushing to try to succeed, that sometimes was what you need, and like you need that drive because he wasn't settling
back down.
He didn't want to. He wasn't going to be settling for second best, and he wasn't settling for laziness. And he let that be known. And you got to respect somebody like that because he might have had some God-given talent. Again, he wasn't a top 10 pick.
I was gonna say Vince. I always compared Vince Carter to him. Vince was more talented than Kobe, God-given talent, I think. Vince didn't have that same work ethic.
Not at all.
And Tracy was somewhere in the middle, right? Like more talented than him, but not as much as Vince. And even Tracy, he was a bit more intense than Vince, but still, if you got to that Kobe level, maybe Kobe or something else, right?
And I'll give Kobe a lot of credit too. That I think what he did ended up helping LeBron a little bit, in a sense where he was a guy that again came out of high school. A lot of those Laker players didn't like him because he was getting a lot of hype for a young kid. And showing that a high school kid could really succeed in those type of circumstances because it's not easy. I mean, you see it time after time. You see with a lot of guys that were coming out of high school that they fall under the pressure, that they're not able to succeed.
Remember all those air balls he hit in the first few games?
And he was able to maximize and really show the path on how to succeed for young guys that may have like helped guys like LeBron and like Tracy, for example, when they came in the league and so forth. So things along those nature. Again, he did a lot for society. And again,
good role model for him. Like his work, like I said,
it's a shame.
as a person.
It really is just a shame that he just wasn't able to do more.
Just two things I was gonna say. Just two things. One, I want to say, as for what you're saying about the radio, the people, what they meant. I first thought that's what they meant, but what they were, I'm gonna give one specific, but all of them did it. I've been watching them all last night, all today. The guy from Get Up, there's a white guy and a light-skinned black guy with green eyes. You know the show where they have all the subjects and they have the one guy said yesterday, I can't remember when they had him as a guest, and he goes, we always have debates about Mount Rushmore, and I would always say Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Magic, Bird. And he said, this is what the guy said, even when I would used to say that, I would always feel uneasy in my stomach because I knew Kobe should be too. That's what I mean by them backtracking. They're not just saying they remind me of Jordan because of his stuff. That's not what they meant. They're backtracking and literally putting him at number 2 above LeBron. That's what I mean why they're doing that now. So that's what I meant by that. Number 2, I just want to say is, just so we don't confuse anything, and I'm hearing everyone say it, it's wonderful that he has work ethic. and his work ethic is sky,
Top-notch.
whatever. But that's not what it was. He's not going to be known for his work ethic, because there's a lot of guys who have amazing work ethic,
Bench
and
players or
they're
whatever.
bench players, or they're just okay, or Jimmy Butler, work ethic, and became better than what he should have been. That's not what it is. The mentality that everyone's praising him for proves what he has on the court. If I'm the best, and that Jordan passed the torch thing, that's not what happened. Kobe was trying to rip it out of his hands, and Jordan respected him for it. Jordan's not the type to say, okay,
Give it
here's
away.
the thing. Exactly.
Sure.
So what happened was, you're the best player, I'm stopping you. You think you can stop me? I'm gonna score 70. We're about to lose this game, I'm gonna hit the shot. It's the mentality mixed with the work ethic, because the
And the
work ethic
results.
gives you the confidence
Sure.
for the results. So when you see all that, that's the stuff that Jordan had. And that's what they were saying. So no one ever says how much work ethic Jordan had, but he did. Jordan got cut in high school. Kobe was, his dad was in the NBA. He was bred playing with Europeans when he was in Italy with D'Antoni and them. He was raised to be in the NBA. Jordan got cut in grade 9, a kid from New York, and worked his bum to be the best player. So Jordan has work ethic too. What I'm saying is that the work ethic is beautiful, but when you can see the results, and you see what he's doing, people are saying the Mamba mentality, but then I just keep hearing people revert to it as though the mentality is the work ethic. The work ethic is wonderful, we can all have that. But what he did on the court is when people see I'm not making this about LeBron, but when you see a guy who's it, and then you see other people, that's what you compare it to. You see Jordan, okay, then you saw Kobe. So when you see Kobe, even when I love Vince, he's in all sports, I think he's the biggest underachiever, maybe Lindros, but the greatest underachiever for skills. And when you see him, and you see McGrady, you see Iverson, who had these wonderful times, they had their moments. Kobe just kept going. So even when people had their times, when I see other people, I don't care who comes to see Zion. I told you Zion's gonna be the guy. You got to match up to what I've seen. Of course, I like you right now, but you got to match the Jordans. I'm not gonna call you something unless you show me. Yeah, you got to shut down some people. You got to hit some game winners. I'm not falling for what media pushes me. So that's all I'm saying. It's wonderful we acknowledge his work ethic, but he's not going to be remembered.
Well,
for
it's
his
part
work
of the
ethic.
package that comes with him.
I mean, I did see yesterday that he in high school, I think they have rankings for players, and he wasn't even that highly ranked.
Who?
Kobe.
Kobe.
I think they had I forget what it was. This was literally an interview that I saw with him yesterday as I was going through some of the old videos of him with interviews and so forth. He was ranked 58th. He was ranked 58th as getting
recruit.
in as a high school recruit. He was ranked 58th. And and again, it's a poor choice of words considering the circumstances, but he said he had a kill list, and the kill list was that he was gonna, every one of those recruits that they put ahead of him, he was at one point or another gonna match up against them, and he was gonna move up the rankings by beating them all, and that's how his mentality was even in high school, where he wasn't considered a top. He wasn't LeBron. He wasn't a guy that they were putting on television right off the bat at saying whatever. He literally had to work his way up there, and I think that has to do something with the mentality. It's motivation of they think these guys are all better than you. I got to go out and show you, and just like sort of like what he was saying, but he had to do it right from the start. Because again, like I said, a top recruit would not have gone 13th in the draft per se, because he would have gone higher.
But we talked about the reason he slipped was because he was refusing to sign with some certain teams. Was that
There was no high school
Again, there was
student
still-
drafted ahead of him.
But again,
He's the highest draft.
We're talking about maybe going to a senior year.
But I was talking
or
about the senior year where they had some. I don't remember what the exact list was, but he mentioned in their interview where they ranked him 58th, and he literally was like, "I'm gonna go and beat all these guys that are ahead of me until I make it up to number one." That's probably where he ended up getting so highly drafted. But at that point, his stock he wasn't considered a phenom out of high school at that point. So all in all, like I said, legendary player, sad stuff.
And obviously, by all accounts, a great father. That's what I wanted to say too, right?
And you know what? Like he had his that one incident that was a situation there, but
And we were scared to say it. I don't know why. Yes, that happened. The girl accused him. What does that mean? We all do like people are making it look like, okay, it's not the time to talk about it. He didn't get found guilty. There's an incident where he cheated on his wife. That's bad. So what? Jordan cheated on his wife. Jordan left his wife. People do certain things. You make mistakes.
Yeah.
People that's what I'm saying.
Everybody's
Like
human.
someone's past. It's like I'm not saying to dismiss something because someone died, but we got to be real.
Yeah.
People, I
He
don't
also
like
wasn't
this
O.J. Simpson either.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he stayed with his wife.
And she
had
stayed with
kids.
him. Yeah, she
exactly.
tried to.
These guys are.
And I do feel for his wife because at the end of the day, she'll never. it's one thing for the daughters, obviously, to lose a father, lose a sister. I also feel for Vanessa, who lost a husband, and you gotta think
Well, I
for
mean,
the
it's
rest, both for the rest of
one
her
of those
life.
things
That'll
where
never.
you know what, like you can say that like Kobe lived. You know, he was only 41, but he lived life. The little girl, 13 years old, what did she really live? That to me was the. I was again as sad as the Kobe thing was. I think seeing I think they had that footage a couple weeks ago with his daughter at the game with him and it's just
Shooting in the house. I saw the
shooting and
video.
shooting the video, shooting the house and she looked like she was gonna be something that she was she could have
WNBA
potentially
player,
been a
definitely
WNBA
college,
player
yeah.
and not getting a chance to even she didn't even make high school.
You see the
It's
clip
crazy.
where he's talking to her, and
What's that?
yeah, well, there's more than one, but the one where he's saying something to her and she says something and he's like, right. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Like it looks like she's saying something. Why I knew she was gonna be good, and like the most important thing that I'm not saying because she's Kobe's daughter, she's gonna make it. Jordan had 3 sons, none of them can make it. LeBron, his son looks humble. He doesn't look anything like LeBron mentality wise, but I'm not gonna just say he's making it or Zion, Zaire, Wade's kid because whatever. The thing that I was seeing with Kobe's daughter was he's bringing her to the game and giving her the mentality because he's not going to be around. When she's in college, he's not going to be with her saying, hey, let's go to the gym at 3 in the morning. He's putting something into her mind mixed with the skill, and that's when I knew that there was no doubt in my mind she's going to the WNBA and she's going to do something. And I already done love the WNBA. I can tell you players from the thing. I love basketball.
Yeah,
I know people make fun of me.
Tracy McGrady. I think his daughter's was around her, and he's like
Yeah, he talked
she
about
was
that, yeah.
like the closest thing to Kobe because she had that mentality that she was just she was playing the game. She was just sinking shots. She was gonna be something, and that's the unfortunate thing where she didn't get a chance to do anything. That's the sad reality of things.
Yeah, and people are saying like even the younger ones, even if they play, to get that mentality that this girl you can tell was getting her psyche. You can tell when she's watching the games, like she's not acting like a fan girl, like hey LeBron saying hi to my dad, like she's just she's there to watch the game and man. And Kobe even picked up the game for her. He didn't even care. He said I was never going back to the Staples Center. This is that she started liking ball and wanted to go to games. And her favorite player was Trae Young, and that's why they said he only went to 3 games and 2 of them were against Trae Young. So.
Yeah, Trey wore the number. Was it number 8 or 24?
I think it was number 8.
Number 8 at first. A little bit they changed it back, but he's gonna be missed. Like I was talking with someone just to wrap it up because I know we're going over, but the last guy I missed this much when he retired was Shaq, and that was because I grew up watching him and I really liked him, and he had such a personality in the NBA.
Well,
and now Kobe was the second guy, and I was like,
he
he's
went out
gone.
scoring 60 points. Like no one's gonna.
And back then, I used to, when that happened, I remember me, along with some others, like, like the Jazz are, easing him on defense and letting him have it kind of thing. Regardless where they were, where they went, he hit all the shots.
Who?
Kobe. When
Yeah,
he had
those were
60.
shots.
They were shots.
layups.
It weren't
They were
layups,
shots,
right? They were
exactly.
contested shots and whatever it was, and he dropped 60. Like, that's a storybook ending.
Sure.
So, rest in peace, Kobe.
Yeah,
Obviously,
rest in
we
peace.
missed you since you've been gone, and we'll continue to miss you. And prayers to the family.
Mhm.
That's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you guys next time.
Kobe Bean. I just
It was
didn't
about
like
20.
I loved Kobe Bean, but not Mom.